It's the dream.
Welcome back, dreamers, to Indie Synergy Exchange, your podcast for all things indie art and creation. I'm your host, Tanner Giese, also known as Number 2 Pencil Man, and owner of Tanner's Tales Entertainment. Joining me tonight, I have my two lovely co-hosts, my wife, author and poet, Katie Giese, and our musical talent, Andromeda, aka Rachel, also writer and poet. And tonight we have a very special guest joining us, the one, the only, Queen of the Unicorns, Dr. Tiffany, the colorful psychologist.
Woohoo! I'm so honored. That's a good positive reinforcement for me. I should wake up to that every morning. Thank you for having me on your podcast. Mwah!
No, thank you for coming. It is an honor to have you. I mean, I've been looking forward to this basically since the podcast begun. You were one of the very first guests that I wanted to have on the show. I was like, you gotta meet her. She's amazing. And here you are. So I am so excited to get into this. But before we do, I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. If you like what we do, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us build this platform so we can help push other indie artists and creators out into the spotlight. And we don't just focus on one type of art or another. We also have businesses and pretty much anybody who can create anything and they're doing it independently. We can showcase it here. So we're building that platform. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just wanted to say that. And without further ado, we're going to get into this. I want to turn it over to Dr. Tiffany. Dr. Tiffany, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh, that's that one dreaded question that everyone loathes because it's like you do so much and how do you compress something, right? So I'm a licensed and board certified clinical psychologist. I am a Air Force veteran. I'm a mom. I'm a wifey. And I recently retired with my spouse, and I decided I'm going to tap into all my artistic endeavors from singing, acting, dancing, poetry, music, you name it, right? Content creation. And I thought I'd love to share with the world my unique perspective on how I see things very artistically and very creatively. So this next portion of my life, so I am 40 years old. So this next portion of my life is tapping into my inner artist because I believe we're all artists. And I think the purpose in life is to find our perfect self-expression. And so growing up, I was a little girl who was a ballet dancer. I was in speech and debate. I was in acting. I was in music. I played the viola. I sang. And so those were all like my inherent passions. And then I felt later in life that I had to prove myself. So then I became a doctor, then I joined the military, then I became a boss lady for a very long time and said, you know what, it's now time for me to go back to the arts and color outside the lines in the way that I think that God designed me. I know that God designed me this way. Very weird.
I love it. No, I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. Honestly, when I first saw The Colorful Psychologist, I found you on TikTok. That was where I first experienced what you were creating. And I was just like, Katie, look at this. And I was just like, you reminded me so much of one of my mentors growing, like, for the last 7 years. And I'm just like, this is amazing. And I just loved how you were using your art style to convey deep spiritual messages. And I was just like, this is so awesome. This vibes with me so much. And I just want to get to know this person because she is amazing.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Yeah. So people who haven't seen my content, so I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the list goes on, YouTube, Threads, right? And so a lot of my content is very avant-garde, which is very out there. It is very theatrical, it's very different. It's a different way of consuming psychology and neuroscience and spirituality. It's just It's very storytelling. I dress in cosplay, right? A lot of my stuff
Yeah,
play. I'll wear tutus and unicorn horns and colorful wigs, and I go all out. That's just pretty radical.
that's what we got to do.
It's like a
Embrace
Lisa
that.
Frank explosion. I don't know if you remember Lisa Frank
Uh,
from the 90s.
oh, was that 1 or 2 weeks ago? I
Which
was
one?
like, let me show you Lisa Frank, dear, because he's younger than me. So I showed him the Lisa Frank website, and just looking through, I'm 35, and I was like, I want some. I want the purse, and I want this, and I want this. I can't right now, but someday I will own some Lisa Frank merch. Once again.
It is pretty badass. You got to watch the documentary though. It's called Glitter and Greed. It's on Amazon. It's worthy though. It's a worthy binge. It's a different world, but yes, the colors, everything to me.
I'm a
Yeah, I
huge fan of
remember
colors.
when I was younger, I had a Lisa Frank folder that I'll never forget. It was like a dolphin in outer space, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, I know. Remember, I think they were called Trapper Keepers back then.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Called a Trapper Keeper.
right.
Good
You know
stuff.
what Trapper Keeper is?
No, man, I'm like, I understand kind of a little bit about this now, but I don't know what that is.
How old are you, Tanner?
27.
Oh, you're a baby. Oh my God. Okay.
I mean,
Married a baby, huh?
I mean, not as much anymore because I have this, but before this, I was a complete baby face, and I looked like I was like in my teens still.
Yeah, you can pull that off. You absolutely could.
That's why I
love
have the beard.
it.
I can't
I
be
love it. You're
confused
rocking
for a
it.
number 2 pencil teenager. It's number 2 pencil man.
Oh man, so masculine. I love it.
No, I'm a softie. I'm a total softie, but I love it. That's awesome. Wow. Rachel, do you want to start us off?
I want to just get started and just know more about like what are you specifically creating that you're putting up online? Like what is your content? I know that you have like your psychology stuff, but are you writing music? Are you writing poetry? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So content creation is a beast of its own. You know very well, Tanner.
Yep.
When you're just giving like educational messages, that's one form of creation. I am also a musician, so I've been in the studio this year, and I've been writing a lot of music and been recording. So right now I have 6 songs done in the studio. I have one that's out right now for kids. It's called Believe, Behave, Become. It's a
I
lot
love
of
that song.
affirmation to help rewire and reprogram their subconscious minds. People don't realize how powerful music is because it's a mantra, as you know, Rachel, because you're an incredible musician. You know, it's a mantra, and you find a catchy hook that you continue to repeat over and over again. Unfortunately, many of the catchy hooks that are out there, they're not really how you want to program your subconscious mind. It usually programs your subconscious mind for addiction, for lack, some of the vulgarities. You just don't want to program it that way. So I wrote a song specifically for kids, and I have a son who is now 10 years old. He was 9 at the time. He's part of the music video and everything, but it's all about those positive affirmations and believing, behaving, and becoming, because we don't recognize how much power we have over our lives, because I believe we are conscious creators. And once we recognize that we were made in the image of the creator to be conscious creators, then everything radically shifts. So yeah, so music, dancing. I used to be a professional ballet dancer for many years. So bringing that all back together, learning hip hop, different art styles, and then I like to combine it. I just recently went live on TikTok where I was singing, dancing, acting, talking, and it was wild. It was like a full 20 minutes of me going ape nuts. I should say ape nuts. I'm not going to say the bad word. Okay. I was going nuts, and people probably thought I needed to be in a straitjacket, but that's okay. I had a lot of fun, and I actually had like 500 viewers. And so for my first time, I was like, cool, this works. And I got a lot of energy out, but it's just constantly performing and making sure I push my creations out. I think people get so fixated on things having to be perfect all the time. And I would tell you, of the content I create, of 100% of it, I usually release about 90 to 92%. I release a good portion of all the content that I do create. And so I think it's important. I think showing my evolution and not focusing on perfection, but encouraging people to become, because the process of becoming is very cringy. For me, it's very cringy, it's very campy. I love cringe and camp. So I'm okay with being in that genre because I love that genre. And I think that the more we can get over the ick of being that way, the more we can become faster and become our highest self, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, that totally resonates with me as an artist, as a musician. I think that a lot of music, when I play music, I almost feel like, I can play and play and play. And then all of a sudden there's a moment where my brain almost feels like it just totally relaxes. And I can do it without having to really focus on it, if that makes sense. And I feel like,
Cool.
I don't know if that, resonates with you, but I think there's almost a part of your brain that's working, and you're pulling back into the backside of your brain, into like the center part of it. I'd be curious to know your thoughts on that as somebody who's a psychologist, because I talk about this all the time. It feels very trippy. I feel like when you talk to musicians, a lot of them talk kind of like this, but it's like you can almost physically feel this other part of yourself being activated.
I think, may he rest in peace, Robin Williams said it best. So I know you probably know who Robin Williams is. He passed away, and he was an incredible comedian, an incredible actor, and he was known for like roles when I was a kid, like Mrs. Doubtfire. And he'd always say when he would go into the creative mindset and he'd step in, it's like you're channeling, right? And so what you're saying along those same lines, it's like you get out of your own headspace. So what you're actually doing from a neuropsychological perspective is you're changing the shape of your brain waves. So your brain waves, when we're performing and when we're nervous, we're usually in alpha or beta state. But then when we start to relax, we go into more delta gamma. And when we channel, we go more into gamma. And so it's where you're just kind of flowing, and source is connecting to you. When I say source, I mean your higher self. God's your source, whatever you believe your source is. And I believe in the creative flow of energy and channeling my highest self, because I believe everyone is a reflection of God. I believe everyone's made in the image of God. I believe everyone's a divine spark of the creator. And so it's our job to reflect that frequency and vibration. And when we allow ourselves to be pure vessels, like you said, Rachel, kind of leaving your mind and getting out of your mind and letting creativity flow through you, it's an outer body experience. Even just talking about it, like I got goosebumps, because I feel like how that energy shifts and how it changes. Do you notice that, Tanner, when you're getting up and you're doing your, you just step into it and it's like whoosh.
Yeah, I'm like getting so pumped up because it resonates with me. Like
I know
I'm
you're
like,
bouncing over there.
I know. It's like this is how it
Like,
connects with me.
what's
I get
Katie
so
doing under the table?
I'm just yes. I mean, it's kind of like what Number Two Pencil Man helps me with, because for the longest time I've been too shy as Tanner to get out there. So God gave me Number Two Pencil Man. And whenever I put on that costume, it's like something switches, and it's like I don't have to have filters anymore. I can be fully this. It's like I can do everything I've always wanted to do. And now it's like in this phase, I'm learning how to connect the two together and show myself more and be like, I can do that as me as well. But Number Two Pencil Man is just like, that was a creation that I stepped into. It was one of the first things coming back when God revived my creativity and I started to really connect with my creative storyteller. He gave me Number Two Pencil Man, and it's been such a tool to help me unfold the rest of this. And it's like every time I step into it, something switches. I feel like I'm fulfilling part of my highest goal, like highest mission ever. It's like I get to be out there. I can feel every transfer of energy that goes from me when I interact with people, and I know that I'm doing something. Like I know that there's an impact being made just by being in that state, and I love it, and I want more of it. And now it's like learning how to make every moment feel like that, not just when I'm doing this. It's slowly becoming the blending of two now. So that's the phase that I'm currently in.
I love it. And I know that you, Tanner, Katie, and Rachel, I know all of you have your alter egos, right? Because you do have your superhero characters. I saw your superhero character, Katie. I have your sticker. It's super adorable. And I know Andromeda must be your alter ego, right? So it's all this embracing this superhero, which you can call alter ego. I think alter ego is probably a better word, because it's the shameless version of yourself, unabashedly coming out there and then bringing the knowledge that you already have bringing it and flowing with it, like you said. But the alter ego, like once you can just activate that alter ego, it's magic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It requires so much like self-trust and confidence to get to that point where you're just like, you know, this sounds like a crazy idea to dress up like a pencil. I'm here for it. Let's do
I
it.
love it. I think it's fantastic. The first time I saw it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And you get better and better at it. And it's again, it's allowing, especially at the beginning when you're channeling your alter ego. I always prayed, I said, infinite spirit of wisdom, divine source, just flow through me. I am yours. And I do that every time, if I have big public speaking audiences that I'm performing for, if I'm giving like a presentation, I always, ask God just to flow through me and to be my words.
Yeah. I feel that. That's like I said, the whole thing was basically led by him. It was him reviving my creativity. It was after high school I lost my creative spark. I went through the whole getting into the mundane of everything and then just slowly got to me until I felt like I had nothing, no purpose, no anything to look forward to. And then God found me and I realized that there was more. And then he slowly took me from one phase to the next. And it was like, I want to do what you want me to do. And then it was like him getting me to realize that what he wanted me to do was what I had always wanted to do in the first place with the dreams that I used to have. So then it took allowing myself to revive that and allowing myself to think I was awesome and amazing and love myself. And that opened the door for so much more.
It
And
sounds like your inner child knew all along. Our inner child always knows all along. When you really think about it, when we drop into these avatars, right, these bodies, our spirit plops right down in, and the spirit like has to go through this process of forgetting. I call it the earth challenge. The spirit forgets, right? But the inner child, so young, though closest to source, really just understands what the purpose is, understands what the calling is, and just knows your truth and isn't yet programmed with the ways of the world. And many of the ways of the world, unfortunately, is programming and shame. Right. And we don't want to be programming and shame. That's what shuts down our inner child. That's what shuts down the alter ego. That's what shuts down the creativity, right? Is shame and getting just stuck in the mundane, being physical body in the physical world when truly you are a you are a spiritual being in a physical body. You know what I'm saying? So we have to embrace the fact that we are spirit, that we are divine, right? We have this beauty within ourselves.
Oh yeah. It's a big game changer, and honestly, it makes life so much more amazing. You get to see the beauty in everything. You get to see
Yes, you
God in
do.
everything. It's just
And it's
like,
more playful, it's more fun. You get a
yeah.
lot more dopamine and serotonin and norepinephrine flowing through your brain. It's all good. It's a
That's
natural high. It's a
the
Yeah.
best
beautiful
kind of
thing.
high.
Yes, yes.
I'm
Uh,
just curious, like, what would you, because you've talked about it twice, or you've referenced it twice, like, what would you say are the greatest distractions on earth that pull us away from that free spiritedness and that spirit?
Oh, okay. This is pretty deep. So it's a great question. You must be a journalist. I think the biggest lies that we're told, and I'm just going to be honest, and I think the biggest lies are that God is outside of us and that God is judging us, that God is separate
Preach.
from us.
Preach.
And
Oh, jeez.
yeah, and that you're either going to go to heaven or hell, and the likelihood of going to heaven is slim to none. So, that's the biggest lie. And the reason I think this lie continues to get generated is because it keeps us stuck. It doesn't allow us to become free. It leaves us stuck to addiction, and then we can't create, and we become the perfect slaves for the perfect system that wants to do whatever it wants to do with us. Yeah. So that's my very Katniss Everdeen perspective on this. But the reality in my mind, in my head, is that, again, like I said earlier, that we are a frequency. Like God said, let there be light. And then all of us are a frequency of that light. And it's our responsibility to shine that light here on earth in this body, in this form, and experience that frequency. We are not separate from God. God flows through us. I mean, you can go with scripture, right? And scripture says, he who is in me is greater than he who is in the world. And that's God, right? But also understanding that you are a part of the divine, right? Like that divinity is within you. It's your higher self, it's your spirit. And then you connect to the ultimate source. And so understanding that we are separate from God and that God is a judge, I think that's the most condemning thing. And then right next to that is shame, because then people start fixating on sin. And it's just like, it's the human experience. We are divine in the human experience, and we're trying to figure this out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're humans, we're not perfect. But yeah, that's my perspective. I think shame is the biggest detachment, and believing that we're not divine is the other.
Would you say that every single person has like a creative energy? Like, does everything count as creation? Where do you draw the line? You know, like, can we be creative with our social work or whatever else? Like, I'm just curious as to how you define creativity.
Oh, there's no definition for creativity. Creativity is the ultimate form of freedom. I love creativity so much that I wrote a book called Born to Create. You know, I always think creativity, like I think Albert Einstein said this, is intelligence having fun. And so you can be creative in any dimension and you can channel that. And so I don't believe there's an operational definition.
You know, I just commenting on Albert Einstein, I think he said that if he had a secondary career, it would have been to be a musician. So I thought that was very interesting, because it's, you know, you don't usually connect a scientist or a mathematician with the arts. A lot of people like to separate them, and they like to say they're totally different. Artists are not good at science and vice versa. But, you know, I always really like Leonardo da Vinci because he had kind of both. And I feel like there's so much learning to be had in the creative mind that also can activate metaphysically in the physical worlds, you know, and understand the physical world from a kind of a unique and creative perspective. And maybe that's what makes some of our scientists most brilliant, is that creativity. Maybe they do have that artist in them.
Yeah, and when you think of it from a scientific perspective, everything is energy. Energy is science. Energy is God. Energy is source. Energy is creation. Energy is art. Energy is expression. I mean, and so yeah, it's all inherently connected. And I think the biggest fallacy too is our desire to separate everything and put everything in a box without letting it flow and have freedom.
Yeah, it's definitely
Recursive judgment.
Yeah, it's very much like a Western world thing, I think, to compartmentalize things. You know, we're very black and white in our culture.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's a good black and white.
Stripes.
Yeah, that's why I'm obsessed with. That's like kind of my branding is black and white and color, because you got to have the light and the dark, right? Because all white light is made of all the colors, it's all the frequencies. I like, okay, if we're going to go spiritual and kind of biblical, because I know you guys are Jesus lovers like I am. And so I always think of Jesus as the ultimate white light. Like when he came to earth, he had all the frequencies, right? We have a frequency and we are to shine that frequency, but he had all the frequencies. He was the white light who showed us everything and how to be. And I think it's so important, because we wouldn't have creation if there wasn't any darkness, because darkness had to say yes to light in order to conceive the creation. So we can't eliminate darkness. There's beauty in everything. And the only way that we ever discover who we are is when we leave and we find ourselves and discover ourselves. We have to, it's like, I always say, it's like a deep sea diver that dives deep down into the trenches of the ocean to experience itself, because you can't experience yourself when you're constantly amongst yourself. You have to try new things. You have to push yourself outside your comfort zone. And that's the only way to grow. And that's what creation is. It's always growing. It's ever evolving. And the only constant is that it's always changing.
Absolutely.
I love it. It's just getting me so pumped up.
So funny. You literally are bobbing up and down. It's hilarious.
I know.
You are the cutest.
I can't contain my excitement. It's just like whenever I like connect like this, it's like I get fuel, and it's like, haha!
Yeah, let's beat our chests. Yeah. I'm just kidding. That's obnoxious. I'll stop there.
I wouldn't do that. I do more like the yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, I'll take it. It's a good one.
Don't
Or we can
worry,
unicorn, do the unicorn around, put that little horn up. There you go.
we could do that. That's awesome. No, I love the unicorn branding as well. I think unicorns are fantastic. I totally believe they're real. Always have. I'm a big cryptid lover. I've always something about me when I was a kid. I always loved things like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, all the different cryptids, creatures that may or may not exist, and
Oh, I
I'd
believe.
watch all those shows. Oh, it was one of my favorite things. I wanted to be a cryptozoologist when I was a kid. And then people told me I was stupid for wanting to be that, and so I decided not to.
No, and you need to go. Okay, people, go down the rabbit holes. Always go down the rabbit holes. I'm writing this down. Go down the rabbit hole because I'm going to do a video on that. Go down the rabbit holes. You have to, because that's your creativity. That's your
Mhm.
curiosity. That's what fuels you. It's a part of your divine design for your divine destiny. Go down the freaking rabbit hole. And when some people tell you that's stupid, it's only a reflection of their own insecurities.
Mhm.
So ignore it.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
learned that now.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. I love it. Yeah, now coming back to it, it's just like I still believe that. I want to eventually. There's a guy I like. His name is Josh Gates. He does a lot of expedition stuff on. I think he's on the Discovery
Oh
Channel
yeah, I know
now.
what you're talking
Don't ask
about.
me. I don't know.
I know.
You're looking at me like I have no idea.
He was like an idol to me as a kid because he would go travel across the world looking for these mysteries, and I was just like glued to this show. It was one of my all-time favorite shows as a kid. I'm just like, I want to be like that one day. I want to
It's like
go
the
find the
movie Up.
mysteries.
Did you
Huh?
see the movie Up? Did you see the movie
Yeah.
Up? It's like it reminds me of that explorer who's in the movie, and he's
Yes.
constantly looking for that big bird.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I went and saw that in the theaters with my grandma. Fond
Oh,
memories of that. I loved every part of that movie except for the beginning, which was very sad, but
Yeah.
I
it's a good movie.
it's good. Very good movie.
Squirrel, squirrel. Actually, have a song about ADHD coming out, and it literally has the word squirrel in it. It's kind of funny.
That's awesome. I'm
Is your
excited to hear your new music.
Yeah, I want to ask more about the music. So is your music like, does it have a lot to do with what we're talking about now, or is it more about like kind of your personal experiences or about psychology?
I'm not trying to down any brand of music, but I'm just going to be very honest with you in my opinion. I am just over like love songs. I love songs. I think they're great, but I'm just like, that's what I hear on the radio. And I feel everything's so inundated with just like finding a partner or being sexy for someone. My music is very much for your mental health. It has everything we're talking about is in it. The first song that I'll be releasing is called "I Am." And it's remembering that we are the great I am, right? So, you ask and God reflects, right? The universe reflects back to you everything that you put out. So we have to learn that law of attraction. But when you ask, who am I to the universe says, I am.
Mm-hmm.
It reflects it back. And
Mm-hmm.
so I am in scripture is God. I am that I am. And it's not necessarily saying you're God, your source, you're the ultimate creator, but you are a spark of God. You have God's energy within you. And so it's reminding people of kind of where we came from. And if I have like kind of lyrics that are similar to, it's very like Aniko. I don't know if you've heard of Aniko, but she has some really, really good work. But it's more about existentialism, and it's more about the mind, about psychology. It's about breaking chains, becoming our highest self, being in our highest timeline, quantum leaping, all of that goodness. More
Mm-hmm.
about falling in love with you versus falling in love with someone else and making yourself the perfect person for someone else. Is about falling in love with who you are and becoming.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's funny. I was actually just talking to my mom about that I am the great I am, because what stands out to me is the lack of a definition. You know, like for me, it's more vague. It's more general. It's more of like I am. I'm a presence, and I've always felt like that presence is something that we personally experience in our own way. You know, it's not something that is so defined. Like I grew up. Um, my dad is a pastor, so I grew up in very religious background, and everything was very very clearly defined, and everything was very, I guess, compartmentalized, like I said before. And something that I feel that that mentality lacks is this sense of exploration and a sense of openness. And I feel that we don't talk about that enough, and we don't know how to talk about it. And I really appreciate that you're reflecting on those things. I don't know if you feel like I'm understanding what you're doing, but that's my takeaway from it.
Yeah, I talk about the weird thing, and I I think at this point in my life, being 40, I really feel hitting 40 was just the opportunity to be shameless
Mm-hmm.
and to not fit myself in the box. But yes, Rachel, yes, you're understanding
For sure,
me.
yeah.
And being shameless is just it's just the way to be, and just to get rid of worrying about what people think about you. You know, if I like my creation, I'm posting it. And it doesn't, I don't have to run it past a whole bunch of people to say, do you like it? Do you like it? The only person I run it past is my husband, because I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Is the volume okay? But the bottom line is you just got to put yourself out there. If you want something, do it, and just go for it with your whole heart.
I love
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I totally agree with that. That is amazing. Oh, I'm still hyped up. Did you have something, Katie?
Not yet. No, I don't think so.
Not
that. I
yet?
wanted.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, oh.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just a very curious person, so I always just like to get as much as I can. I want to hear. Did you say you do poetry as well?
I do poetry. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's part of writing lyrics, right? And so then usually what I'll take my lyrics, uh, I'll end up slamming the poetry and doing it in like in a very avant-garde animated way. So I'll just do the poetry of my lyrics. And so, you know, when I write music, it's coming up first with the words of what I want to say, and then finding a melody around it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. What instrument do you write music with?
Okay, so this is really funny. So I so I used to play, and I still play it every now and again, but I have nails. But I used to play viola actually professionally.
So
And I did that for a large part of my life. But right now, I don't have any other instrument. So what I do is I go on Pond 5 and I get beats off of Pond 5. And I go through all the beats and I listen to all of it and I see which is the right energy, which is the right vibe, how can I fit, what melodies work with it. And then I just buy the beats offline and then I go record over the beats. And then I add, you know, other stuff on top of it to mix it, right? You know?
that's really cool. It makes
It's
me very intrigued to hear your music.
yeah. It's fun because it's already produced, like already done, like, and you have like the whole band in it, some of it, and sometimes it's synth. And you know, there's a lot of good stuff coming up with AI. They're really good at getting beats. So I am a big fan of not using AI to write my lyrics or not using AI to do my voice or whatnot, but just using it for the bass, like the, you know, laying down the initial track. I think it's fantastic because you literally can type in, you know, what energy you want, what vibe you want, what, you know, musical instruments, what beat you want it to be, how long. So that helps also.
Interesting. That sounds very exciting. Are you gonna have like a physical CD, or are you just gonna put it up on like the platforms?
Yeah, it's a good question. Doing all my research because it's really been years. I used to be a singer songwriter back in the day when I was in college, and I said to myself, I have a year. If I'm going to get anywhere with this singer songwriter stuff, I actually had Michael Jackson's guitarist on that, you know, CD. It was really cool. He's famous for doing. His name's Tim Pierce, and he's famous for doing the riff black and white, the da na 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 da na na na, you know, it's a good one. And I said to myself, I'm going to go all out. If not, I'm going to go become a doctor. And so I became a doctor. And now I'm like, I'm done doing all this, you know, like living the way of the world. Now I'm ready to live the way of the creative that's in me, because that's stronger and more potent in me. And so now, yeah, so doing that.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
really exciting to me. So you have poetry, psychology, music. Am I missing anything?
Acting. I am an author too. So actually, I just published another book. It just came out yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Freedom Rhythm, Emotion Focused Movement. So I created something called Freedom Rhythm, and it uses a whole bunch of colorful, vibrant silks that people dance with and move with because I would say they're very intuitive. Like, I mean, you literally
Mhm.
move your arm like a wand and it literally flows in that direction. It's almost like magic. So every time somebody grabs one of those, they're like, oh, it's so amazing. And so it really helps people. I have them move with it. So for those people who don't feel comfortable dancing and they feel insecure about it, they can move the silk and they feel really secure doing that. So I'll have them release certain emotions by using the silks, and I use it specifically for the children. I also had created a form of it for like being in the gyms or whatnot, you know, like a Zumba kind of fitness, because you burn a lot of calories doing it, surprisingly. But it's also a mental health component that includes visualization and positive affirmations at the end of each movement piece. And so I just wrote the book, Freedom Rhythm Emotion Focused Movement School Manual, so that we can implement it for the children in the schools, really activating their creativity, their positive affirmations, understanding that they can transfer their emotional energy through movement, and it helps them to process, cope, you know, and just live a better life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So a
that's
lot of writing too. I like to geek out on writing. Oh, and
well.
I did, you know what, Tanner, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna pin this one on you. When I saw
Huh.
you were coming out with a comic book, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should write a comic book. And I actually included the song Believe, Behave, Become in the comic book. And
That's
it's
awesome.
going to be a graphic novel at about like 90 pages. And it's incredible. Like this artist like is like an, I don't know. I say he's like an alien because he's like, when I say alien, it's like he like knows exactly what I'm thinking. And like, cause everything that I create is in outer space, the images. I'm just like, how do you know this? Like, how did you get all the galaxies and the flow and the align? Blows my mind. Yeah.
From what you've shown me of it, it looks incredible, and I can't wait to read that.
It's insane. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pick your brain on how to get it out and get it published or whatnot, because I've never done anything with art. So
Hey, I mean, I'm always here. I mean, you've helped me out so much and encouraged me with everything that I've been doing, so I'm more than happy to help any way that I can. Uh,
I'm pinging you.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm
So,
here for you.
oh wait, that was a good salute. Pretty
Thank
good.
you.
There you go. All right.
Did you, were you gonna say
Katie, do you
something?
have a question for me? I feel like you have a question for me.
I don't have the words for the question yet. It's simmering. But I just wanted to comment. I've had a few come and go in my brain, but this one I'd like to actually say out loud. I'm just what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I get really tired of this time of night. So, um, appalled is not, that is not the correct word. Different word. I guess amazed will have to do. That's not working it well enough. It's not, it doesn't comprehend. But I'm just really amazed with your most current book, its premise, and making it available to schools. I mean, that's going to change the world. I mean, that just really stands out to me because of the impact that it's going to have. I'm sure it already has had time. I just don't know what it is. But and thinking about, I mean, how applicable it would be to children, no matter where they are
Mhm.
on the spectrum, whether they have a diagnosis or not, and that because so many children seem to be having something related to that nowadays, a lot do, and even those that maybe don't, they could still totally benefit. So I just, yeah, just how beneficial it's going to be to so many children. That just amazes me. Yeah. So I guess thank you
Oh,
for stepping into your true self and making that happen. Because yeah, I would. I don't know if you're gonna have like any way to have any tracking of that, like how
if
well it
you
goes
send
over,
it,
or when it's
I will.
implemented, or like getting stories back. But I hope, I don't know. It'd just be cool to see how many children it ends up helping.
I love that. Thank you so much for the encouragement. To be honest, when God gives me a divine download, I work diligently as soon as I get it usually, and I bring it to life. But one of the things I need to work on too, and I know it's about prayer and timing for everything in life. Like timing is so key, and understanding that you're right on time all the time.
Mhm.
You're exactly where you're meant to be. Okay. And understanding God's divine timing, because God's divine timing, source's divine timing, knows everything in advance and is going to do everything for your maximal benefit right? And for everyone else's maximal benefit. And so I'm always saying to myself, like, one of the things I say when I run, it's like a mantra, is everything is always working out for my highest good. Everything's always working out for my highest good. So when I'm impatient about timelines, or I'm impatient about trying to get things out a certain way, or I'm trying to market something, I'm looking at from the business perspective, I just know that God's going to put the right people at the right place at the right time, the right situation in front of me when I need to. And right now we're going through something called the age of Aquarius, or known as the age of enlightenment, the Great Awakening, where we're really ascending from three-dimensional reality to 4D, which is more in the mind, to 5D, which is higher levels of consciousness. And that's where we're going right now. And so, in our society, there's a lot of chaos. And so there's always more chaos before the storm, right? And so right now, even with my works, like color and diversity and things that I really represent are really being suppressed and muted. And even like my work that I just published right now, the book for Freedom Rhythm, the idea of kids flying silks in the air that are all different rainbow colors, and talking about the importance of neurodiversity and diversity and all these other things. Those are like flagged topics now, taboo topics in the educational system, which they shouldn't be. But as with everything, it's going to be a thing that's happening right now. But as long as something's suppressed, and once that pressure is relieved, then will be the time. So it's understanding too that God's divine timing, anointing, and appointing is what I got to wait on.
We're here to change it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we're world shakers, baby.
Yes, we are. I actually did want to ask you a question about that stuff, because I know I should talk to you a little bit about this. I got 3 gigs with a library system coming up here in the summer, where I will be presenting a summer reading program for kids. It's going to be my very first time. Well, I've done a small kind of thing like it before in the past, but nothing to like the scale now. So I wanted to know some of your advice on that, how you got into that, because you've had an incredible journey. You've been a doctor, veteran. How did you get into performing, and what kind of tips do you have for like live performances, especially for somebody like myself who's just starting out and want to get to that level as well someday?
You're a badass, is what you are.
Well, thank you.
So, to be very honest, I've been performing since I was a little girl. So, like, literally, as soon as I could walk, I handed my mom a flashlight, and I had her shine the flashlight on me like it was my spotlight, and then I danced for her and sing for her. I mean, I've been doing this since I was a kid. Like, even in high school, I was a speech and debate kid. Like, I was in orchestra, I was in acting, I was in ballet, I was in theater. Like, I did all of it, singing, and so all that has always been ingrained, and those were the things I worked really hard on as a kid. And then you kind of let them go, because they're the kid thing, right? And then you got to become an adult, and you got to have responsibilities.
It's crap.
And so, yeah, exactly. And you got to go into the 9 to 5 rat race at some point in time, and so you kind of leave those things behind. So for you, it's always been within you. It's always been your calling. No one else can do it like you, because it's your calling. And so just practicing. What do I do? Like, I do a lot of speech events, like where I do public speaking, kind of like TED Talk type things. What do I do? Over and over again. I rehearse it over and over again. I rehearse in front of the mirror. I rehearse. Like, I just never. There was this one time in high school, or maybe it was in college, where I had won this award, and I thought I was going to do an impromptu speech and nail it. And I did terrible, and it was embarrassing. And I was like, this is never going to happen to me again, mama. And she was like, okay, well, it better not. And it was that one moment. And it was like, I had been like, it got to my head, I think when I was in high school, it's like a speech and debate champion, this and the other. I thought, oh, okay, I can just do an impromptu speech. It didn't come out as terrible as I'm saying, but it was not Tiffany caliber. And so ever since then, I was like, anything I do is going to be rehearsed over and over again. I mean, like, when you see my videos, they're not rehearsed over and over again. They're takes on a camera. So it's very different. But when it's a live performance, man, I'm in front of that mirror talking over and over and over. I'm walk and talk, whatever it is that you want to perform, whatever message you want to get out, do it with bilateral stimulation. Bilateral stimulation is walking, jogging, running, just do any kind of bipedal movement because it triggers both hemispheres of your brain and it actually helps you lay down those neural networks to make it easier for you to memorize. So definitely practice in front of the mirror a lot. And you can't ever like not practice enough in my head. So
That's good to know. No, I'm getting super excited for it. It's funny that you say bilateral movement. I'm a huge pacer, especially when I think. It's like one of the things I just naturally do. I'll talk on the phone and I'll pace. It's just like I'm always been like that. And
I
it's
love that.
interesting to hear like that it actually does something because for so long people be like, "Why do you pace? Why can't you just sit still?" And I'm just like, "I don't know. I do it and
Helps
it
your
seems to
brain
help."
and we do that, all of us do it organically in REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement, when your eyes are moving back and forth in your head.
Mhm.
It's bilateral stimulation. It's your brain processing at a subconscious level while you're asleep. So yeah.
Man, that's so cool. It's so cool to hear like that something that I've been doing for so long actually had a reason, even though I wasn't sure what it was. I was just like, I just do it when I'm in talking,
Only
when
for
I'm thinking.
it's a
I
good thing
love
to
it.
do.
No, that was so encouraging to me hearing you say all that. I actually did tack on another event since I talked to you last. I am doing a
Patience.
panel at a Comic Con. I'm going to do my first motivational speech. Actual like
Man.
motivational speech. I call it the pencil pep talk.
Oh,
Pursue your creative dreams.
awesome.
So I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to be putting what you said into practice. I will let you know how it goes for sure. But that is incredible to hear, like especially being a baby and having the spotlight on you when your mom would do it. That's so fun. It's like you really were born for this, and to see you coming into it more is incredible, and it's so encouraging. Ah,
Oh,
you're amazing, Tiffany.
well, thank you. I think the same of all of
Thank you.
you.
Did you have a question yet? I just
I
wanted to
don't.
ask.
I hope I'm not asking a super repetitive question. Like, I hope I'm not missing something major that was talked about. um, I guess this is just coming from totally personal reasons. Just gonna be honest. uh, because you said creativity is. I think you said something like, I wish I could get it exact, but creativity is ultimate freedom or
Mm,
something. Uh, so if you are somebody that is at least aware that you have a lot of creativity of in you, and you feel like there's blockages to that, and or you feel stuck, but you'd like to be more free. Could you like expound a little bit more on that?
Yeah.
If maybe more on the process of getting to the point of being more free, I guess.
Yeah, I think creativity is something that is abundant and is overflowing. And so I think people oftentimes think that if they're doing too much, then they're going to have a lull, but that's not true. I think even Taylor Swift said it like she just like once you start creating songs, they just keep coming out. I mean, it's just like you can't control it, but you
mm,
have to start. And so for many people, they don't know where to start or they get stuck. So my thing for you is pick a time where you have availability to be creative, and that's your creative window, and then choose something to do, and you just have to start doing, and then the process takes over, and then you'll be like, oh, I have another idea, and then you go with the other idea. You just go with the creative flow. Like if you already started like 3 hours of doing this work, like today I spent a few hours editing a video that I thought was going to be epic in my brain, and it's going to be one of the ones that I do not release.
mm,
But it gave me creative ideas for something else. But the thing is, I still let it flow out. Does that make sense? And I saw that I didn't like it, and then I redirected and got ideas to do something different. So it's just a matter of making the time, making the space for it, and beginning somewhere on something, even if it's just bringing out a coloring book. It's just very intentional that I'm creating. I'm in the moment right now
mm.
and not judging. I think people get so stuck that they have to have this perfect end result, or they judge that the process has to be in such a finite way, but it's freedom. Remember, it's all about fluidity. So just go into it, doing something, have an idea that you find on Pinterest or something like that and expand on it. Right.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I
Mm,
definitely
You should
good
do a
question.
book.
like that.
Okay.
if you want to.
Okay. I mean, if it's relevant to the conversation, I will.
Yeah.
I'm waiting patiently.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
as in you wanted to hear about my book?
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, because I've been really struggling with energy and time, just in general, including my book. But yeah. So it's ideally going to be, hopefully, once I have an artist that I can pay. Um, like an anime inspired or style comic book or graphic novel. I guess I'm still deciding how I want to like split up the storyline and whatnot. I guess a graphic novel would probably be best. Be a little bit slower moving than a comic book series, I think. So it is 7 women in Regency era England who get magic powers to save England from a baddie.
Ooh.
And yeah, I mean so I have a bunch of main characters and done I don't know, somewhat decent amount of research, I suppose. Not as much as some people, but if it's needed, like I'll look something up. Thank you, Google. Yeah. I mean, if I talk anymore, it's gonna go on and on, and we don't have that time. But I mean, it's definitely. I've never had this much inspiration for a book before, where it doesn't leave, or it's not hard to return to if I have to take a break. I've never had that before, so that's one of the ways that I know that uh, it's absolutely like a gift from divine source, but also it's totally me. It's a complete collaboration, which is really cool, and really exciting. So I wish I can convey the excitement more externally, but it's very much internally. At the moment, but yeah.
I do
So
feel your excitement for it, and this is an interesting genre, and 7 badass women. Like, hello, this is the era of the divine feminine, so this is the
mm,
perfect time. You know, the divine feminine is rising now, and so you're right on track. And I think
mm,
I know source is flowing through you. Just keep on it, and I love the fact that you can return to it at any given point in time and still feel infatuated with it. You
it's
know?
a friend.
Yeah, it is. It's like, when you're done reading one of your favorite books, it's sad, because it's like you parted. Um, this
Mm-hmm.
is, you're living in another energy, another dimension, another world that you've created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've never seen her so excited for any creative thing that she's ever done until
I
this
love that.
book.
And it's late where you're at right now. So she's still showing a lot of excitement in her physical presence for this time of night.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
I bet.
Thank you.
I just thought it related to the conversation. I'm like, you should tell her about that. It's cool.
It is fabulous. Keep it up. Keep it up. Don't stop.
There you go, dear. Encouragement.
Encouragement. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Rachel, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of different thoughts. My problem in general, I think, is that I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of questions. I know that we're kind of getting close to our time frame here, but I guess I'm reflecting on everything that you say about, we have freedom and we need to let go of our shame. And how do I like how do you define reality, I guess, is my question. Like what if somebody who believes in their heart that, like what they're doing is wonderful and is expression of themselves, but it might hurt other people, or like how do you, do you see what I'm trying to say? Like how do we find the limit, and where is the limit, and what is like uh I I'm kind of tongue twisted right now, trying to figure out how to ask the question. Where is the reality in the sense of the abstract, I guess.
Hmm. It- that's a challenging question. Let me think about that. So are you so okay, so we are conscious creators, right? And so we are always creating our reality, right? Whatever it is that we think and speak becomes reality. Now, most people don't know this, but a combination of your thoughts and your emotions create your electromagnetic signature, otherwise known as your aura. Now, this beautiful light, right, is the information that you're broadcasting to the universe. And some say it's the key to manifestation through the law of attraction, right? It's whatever we're projecting outwards. And so if we have the positive thoughts, but our emotions are not in alignment with those positive thoughts, we need to shift. We're creating what we call constructive interference, and then that whatever we're radiating outward, or what we want to radiate outward, is not going to come back to us. We're going to be very much stuck. So we're conscious creators of our reality. Whatever words you speak over yourself is called spelling, because they are spells. Because whatever you put out there is a fact. If you say, your brain doesn't know when you're like being goofy. It doesn't have like a goofy radar. But if you say, I'm so stupid, or I'm so poor, I'm so this, I'm so that, then the universe says, so let it be, right? Yes and amen's my answer to you. And you don't want that reflected back to you into your 3D reality, so to speak. So understanding that your heart and your emotions are magnetic. So whatever you're thinking, make sure you attach it with a magnetic emotion that will attract what it is that you desire. So we're always consciously creating in our thought space, in our mind space, and people just do not realize how they are trapped in their own minds, or they're trapped in like a Western perspective of what the world should be like. So they're like, they can't think outside the box, when you're really a conscious creator. If you believe solely in hell, and you believe you're going to experience hell, guess what? You're going to experience it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're the creator. I mean, you are the I am in this body, in this physical plane. And so whatever it is that you are fearful, fear also manifests. It's a powerful energy. It's a powerful vibration. So it's learning how to calm that down, to calm your autonomic nervous system, because it creates so much cortisol throughout your body when you're stressed out, right? And then it downregulates your genetic output for disease and death. So understanding you're truly a conscious creator in this reality. So that's what I can connect with reality. Was there another angle that you were hoping to get answered?
No. So I really like what you have to say. And part of the reason why I ask is just because I feel like you have very interesting ways to explain it. And, as a writer, I collect those interesting perspectives. The one thing I just want to say, and I don't want to like overcomplicate it, but I'm just, and this might be wild, or it's just a wild topic, but I'm currently reading Silence of the Lambs. And yeah, it's a pretty insane, terrifying book. But what would you say about the people who people actually enjoy what they think that they're enjoying? Like in the case of a killer, for instance, who enjoys to kill, like, are they lying to themselves, or is there some sort of disconnect to their emotions? Where would you say, how would you explain that?
That's pretty deep. So there's two energy forces. There are two energy forces that are going around and circulating, and one is light energy, which is what we are, and then there's a darker energy that feeds off of fear and anxiety. It feeds, I think, I don't know who calls it. It's called louche energy. I think this is what the yogis call like a louche energy. Any kind of anxiety, any kind of fear, any adrenaline rush, anything that is fear based. Okay. That energy feeds off of it. That's the darkness, right? It feeds off of that fear. So people, when they come to earth, not everyone is a light worker. Does that make sense to you? There are other people who are embodying bodies on this planet who work with the dark energy of the world. You've heard everything that's going on in Hollywood and all the rituals that they do. They're working with the dark energy. The dark energy has power. Okay. But it doesn't have power like light does. When God said, let there be light, the first thing that comes into existence begins with light, and it always ends with light. So that's why we're ascending always. And so there are people who are not light spirits that enjoy the darkness of it. But I can tell you this for a fact, to the best of our ability, the more you vibrate in your light, the less chance that their low vibrational frequency will align with your vibrational frequency. You'll actually kind of repel each other like water and oil, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But there are darker spirits. There are people who do worship the darkness, and it feeds off of negative energy instead of love and connection. And we are all one, and unity and peace and harmony. It feeds off of chaos and destruction. And so some people are fixated with that, and that's their reality that they want to create. But there's
That
more light than there is dark, and so we figure out how to create together. And I'm a firm believer. I know this goes against a lot of Christian principles, but I believe that once we came into existence, once God said, let there be light, and you became a fractal of that light and that frequency, like you've been in existence all along, and you will choose until the end of time where you want to exist as a conscious creator, whether you reincarnate in a human form avatar, whether you want to do whatever else you want to do, whether you want to just stay in the cosmos and be directly tied and connected to source, creating your creation kingdoms. Hey, that's up to you. But I believe that once, the law of non-existence basically says everything exists. Once it's come into existence, it cannot not exist. So the fact that we are in existence, so this avatar may die, but our spirit is never not going to exist. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think
so deep.
So
Everything-
weird stuff, I know.
no,
I love it.
No questions.
More weird stuff.
I hope I didn't bring down the mood with the serial
Not at all.
question. But I just want to say, everything that you've said completely perfectly aligns with how I feel and how I've kind of sensed things were, even if I didn't have words for them. And so like I think part of it was just wanting to know how you would express those ideas, those concepts, because I totally agree. And I absolutely agree. I mean, I really find it interesting when you see videos of people talking about who have had, dying experiences and who have come back, and they talk about becoming a ball of light that kind of rises up into the sky and connects with an energy or a light. And that's something that I have thought long and hard about. And I feel like, I think because I grew up in a very religious setting, it's for me, it was maybe a little bit too, like heaven and hell. And I don't know, I like your perspective on it. And I really appreciate it.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. I used to be a psychologist for a mega church, and I did a lot of psychology and spirituality combinations, especially pulling a lot of scripture and understanding and knowing scripture and helping people through it. And I think it was very important work. But as I've evolved and I get older and I feel more in tune and connected spiritually, the more I recognize how the creator source is ultimate love and ultimate freedom. If we allow God to flow through us, and it's not stuck in just a book of scripture. It's so much bigger than that, and to understand that we are a part of that divinity, it's so very important. I was watching a show, I think it was Oprah. It was Oprah. I don't know what guest she had on, but it was a man who had been in a plane crash and survived it. But he turns around and he sees the whole plane on fire. People are on fire. People are dying in front of him. And what he sees is all the light rising from their bodies. Like he sees like the souls leaving the bodies. And when he saw that, he said to himself, because he wasn't a believer, he said to himself, when I die, I'm not going to be one of those bodies that doesn't have a powerful and strong light. I want my light to be strong and vibrant. And so he changed his ways of being and allowed, God, creation, his divinity to flow through him, and changed after what he saw in that visual experience, which I can only imagine that is traumatic, but it's also very enlightening to know that, we're spirits, right? We're having this body experience. And it's funny too, being in the body, it's hard because sometimes we love our body, sometimes we hate our body, sometimes our body's in pain. it's the human experience. I have a song that I wrote called "The Human Experience," and truly, it's becoming free and understanding that everything, even with religion, it's a stepping stone, but you got to keep opening your mind up. You know what I'm saying? Because there's religions out there who get it too. Like the yogis totally get it. I always think of God like a big elephant, right? Like a huge, humongous elephant. And like you have different people from different parts of the country. Like one person has the foot, and this is how they're describing God. The other person has, has the elephant tusk or the nose, right? Or the ears, and they're describing it, but it's the same thing. And so I think sometimes we have to look past the indoctrination of using religion to shame us and to keep us divided and to keep us low vibrational. We need to like be able to decipher what is God and what is not. And I always tell myself, if it's not love, it's not God. If it's not love, it's not God. Right. So that's always kind of been the filter that I see everything through.
I love that. Thank you very much for sharing that.
It's so deep. I love this.
Darling,
Yeah, I know.
we went deep. We gotta wade back up to the surface and go to the beach now. Okay?
We're going back to the shore.
Okay.
She's
I love it.
She's awesome. No, it resonates so deeply, especially I wanted to say it ties in a lot with what God has taught me over time, because I didn't grow up in a church system. I actually had the complete opposite experience. My parents, they didn't baptize me. They didn't do any of that for me. They wanted me to find my own path with all of that. And one day when I've hit my lowest, that's when I finally had my own encounter where this divine source came to me and it was like, wait a minute, you're real. And you have a plan for me, and it's better than what I've got now. And I'm like, then coming to find out that the plan was just to revive the dreams all along and get it into alignment. It's just going through it. I went through the phase of religion. I went into religion, found that it got me stuck. It got me to compare myself to the people on the pulpit. And it was very much like, these people are spiritual, and unless I do X, Y, Z to do this, I won't get to that point. It's like a system of doing as well, and it doesn't celebrate the being. I had to find that it was more, God loves me for who I am. I am that source, like spark of Him, and He created me to be this way. There's no comparison to anybody else. My journey is going to be completely 100% unique to you, to Rachel, to Katie, but yet we can still all come together and work together. And it's not meant to be well, you got this experience, I want that experience. And I feel like a lot of religion kind of becomes like that to some degree, in more of the charismatic circles that Katie and I kind of were in for a bit. And it's just like, as I've learned, like as I've grown with God, God has shown me, like, there's a little bit of truth here. There's truth everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like putting all the pieces together to get that full story, and that's where religion's going to have that thing where it's like, oh, you can't do that. Like, what are you doing? It's like, no, this is the time where we all come together. We take our fragment.
Really think about it, Jesus was a radical for his time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like loving everyone, doing everything that he did. I mean, incredible. But he showed us how to be the truth, the way, and the life, right? So the truth of how that we are divine, that we are all sons and daughters of God. Does that make sense? Jesus is the son of God. I am a daughter of God. You know what I'm saying? And so he showed us that he didn't come to create followers. He came to create leaders, to show us how to be, to walk in the way he walked, because this is the rhythm of life. It's easy, it's grace, it's flowing, right? And it's meant to be free. But he didn't say you need to name a religion after me and call me a Christian, after my name. He said, I want to teach you how to be a leader. And so this is how I live freely and lightly, is what he says in Matthew.
Yeah, and he also encouraged us by saying, greater will you do. And so it's like he had that much faith in us. And everybody's just like, in religion, they'll get like, well, we've done so many bad things, and he's just like, no, step into it. You guys can do it all. And it's like, in fact, you're going to do better things. And it's like, he believes in us. And so many people are just like, he only feels that way because of this or that, and you have to do this to get that. It's like, no, he died to give us this. It's free. Stop making it cost more than it is, because it's free. It's just, we accept it, we get to be it, and we get to grow in it, and then we get to influence things and have a greater impact than we could ever imagine, and we get to bring everything together, and we get to shine that divine love and light, and it's amazing. And I love it. It's just
Beautiful.
incredible. And hearing your thoughts and perspectives, it goes to strengthen that resolve even more. It's like, this is our time to band together as creators to really push back against the darkness that's trying, because they are in a desperate struggle now. They are like, we don't got much time left, and we're like, no, you don't. Get out of here.
No, and it's just a matter of time. And what happens right now is it's like a pendulum. Okay.
Hmm.
So everything before this date on planet Earth. So I'm a firm believer. This is how I see things. Okay. This is Tiffany's perspective. I'm a firm believer that our higher selves knew that this was going to happen on Earth, that this was going to be the great ascension. And we were like, we're going to go down for that, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to be a part of making history on planet Earth by raising the collective consciousness, which is the vibration. And so you have to think back in the days, everything has kind of been run by darkness to a certain degree.
Hmm.
Now everything goes in phases to go from order and chaos from order to chaos, dark to light, right? And so now we're stepping out of the darkness, and now we're entering the age of enlightenment, right? And so when the collective consciousness and some of my work too, like, I
Hmm.
of course we all hope that our content eventually breaks through or gets viral, gets more scenes, but I always recognize that my art is not going to get that feeling until the collective consciousness shifts. Does that make
Hmm.
sense for you too, as the pencil
Yeah.
guy? Like, we're not taken so seriously because we're animated cosplay, but though our message is really on point,
Hmm.
it flies over a lot of the collective consciousness head. And that's going to shift in the next 7 years. We're going to see this radical shift, and we're right on time. We have to believe that. But what's happening is, as soon as the collective consciousness starts to believe in light and starts to see the bigger picture, starts to see their divinity, starts embracing authenticity, starts being shameless, right? And understanding their true worth and their true value. When they start doing that, that's when the pendulum shifts completely. Because right now we're basing our value on how the outside world sees us, whether
Hmm.
it's our bank account, whether it's our status, whether it's a title, whether it's being married, whether it's having a doctorate degree, whether it's this, that, or the other, whether driving a Porsche, living in a mansion. No, man, like, the most free person on earth, right, is the person who has the most fluid spirit. And so that's what we eventually want to get to. And when we finally change that perspective and we let go of the material world, that's when the collective consciousness is going to completely awaken. They're all awakening now, and you can see that
Hmm.
in the content you're seeing on social media, right? Everything that comes up on your For You page is often a reflection of your subconscious mind, and that's why it comes onto your page. But the bottom line is, it's shifting, and it's shifting
Yeah.
fast, and we're riding the wave. We just got to keep riding it, because then soon the inner child is going to be the most important thing, and it was suppressed, like, as childish and foolish, but now we're going to recognize the inner child was everything all along. And when that happens, that's when we've entered the complete fifth dimension.
Woohoo!
Inner child for the win.
Yeah. Hold on a
Everybody's a unicorn. That's because everybody is one of a kind. No, you're not meant to be like anyone else. You're just meant to figure out who you are and shine it as bright as you can.
I think those are beautiful ending words.
Perfect.
Did you have anything that you wanted to say last minute, Katie? I just want to make sure.
I don't think so. No, I think we just need to finish.
Yeah? All
Those
right.
are my ending words. Let's finish the thing.
Let's finish it to start it. No, that's awesome. Dr. Tiffany, thank you so much for your amazing insights and encouragement, and
Aw.
I feel supercharged. I mean, I know everybody else is like, I'm getting tired now, and I'm just like, yes, I could go all night.
Did we
That's just
sharpen number 2 pencil?
Oh man, no, I love this. Like, getting to know you. Like, we've talked before through text messages and stuff, but finally getting to talk to you face to face, it's been amazing, and I am so grateful to know you. And I just want you to know, like, you are amazing, and you are definitely making an impact, and I am excited to watch the journey and hopefully be alongside you. I know I would love to.
Absolutely. When the tide rises for all of us, all the ships go up together. And that's what the ascension's all about. And I feel the same about you. And the way all of you have been so gracious to me is only a reflection of your inner spirit and how beautiful that is, and how creative you are. And Andromeda, thank you so much for taking the time to ask such brilliant questions. I appreciate your beautiful mind, and I can't wait to stalk you on social media and fangirl all over you. And Katie, thank you. I'm so excited about your novel coming out, and it's just so fun to see you light up talking about something you're so passionate. And of course, Tanner, you're slaying it. Keep killing it. You are a breath of fresh air, and it's like when you come across these people like you, it's like, oh, breath of fresh air. Like, even Andromeda, I'm going to stalk you on Instagram here in a second, but I know I'm going to see that with you. It's like these people are performing from their heart and they're giving from their heart. It's just so different, and it feels so genuine and authentic. And that's the vibration we need to be on, is that true authenticity.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you
man.
very much for sharing. It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
very insightful, and I feel like I'm going to go out of this and just be like staring at a wall for a while, just thinking about it.
Okay. Sounds good. I love it, you guys. Thank you.
Process all of that was very interesting and very insightful and very uplifting for me.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Before we end it, though, I do want to give you a chance one more time. Please tell the people, the viewers, the listeners, where they can find you, Dr. Tiffany. Like, what is your social media handles, and yeah, where can they find all the amazing content?
Find all that stuff at thecolorfulpsychologist.com. Thecolorfulpsychologist.com. And I'm at Dr. Tiffany Tajiri, which is kind of a mouthful. But when you go to The Colorful Psychologist, just Google The Colorful Psychologist and Dr. Tiffany. You'll find me on every platform.
Definitely go check her out.
Thank
Amazing
you.
content. You will definitely be enlightened, and I think it's fantastic. Entertaining content. It's amazing, powerful. Check her out. Rachel, do you have anything that you want to plug?
I am releasing a novel soon. I'm not quite sure what the date is yet, so just stay tuned for the release date for that. And working on the album Glasswing, so you can check me out at elegantbomb.com or andromedatheartist.com.
Slay away. We need the
Very-
applause for that, please.
Yes.
Standing ovation. Nothing like creation come to completion, So cool.
Katie, anything you want to say or plug before? I know you already talked about your book a little bit, but anything else?
I'm Katie Gacy. I'm an awesome creative in the works. So stay tuned.
No, you are creative.
I'm an awesome creative, but my creations are still in the works, and I will keep you posted.
I love it. We are all awesome creators. Slay away.
Oh, yeah. And I actually do have a couple updates here. Just real quick, I have issue 2 of Number 2 Pencil Man coming out, hopefully, May 3rd. It is our tentative release date. Frae is finishing the art as we speak. He has a couple more pages to ink, and then color, and then just got to publish it. So issue 2, hopefully out in May. My children's book that I illustrated back in high school, we are also formatting, and that should be out hopefully early summer, I'm going to say, just right now. So I'm excited for that as well. And one other project that I am starting is my very own podcast on Tanner's Tales to revive my YouTube channel. It is going to be called Tanner's Tales Podcast. It is a podcast more focused on stories. So people can come on and share stories of any kind. They can be entertaining, sad, encouraging, funny, wild. It's a podcast where tales of all kind can live. So we are working on that, and it will be my stories as well. So my stories, or I'll read somebody else's stories if they want to submit them to me that way, or I'll have a guest on and give them the spotlight. So that is the newest thing, hopefully starting in the next week or two. So stay tuned. It'll be on the Tanner's Tales Entertainment YouTube channel. that's all my projects. You can also find all my stuff on tannersTalesEntertainment.com. You can follow me at number 2 Pencilman. And on to the last group thing. We are the Dreamscape Empyrean. Frae could not be here tonight. I miss my best friend. Definitely check him out. Frae Official. His 5th year anniversary is happening for his business this year. So you can find a bunch of cool things on his website. Yeah, and if you love this podcast, if you like it, be sure to share it, comment, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on the audio platform. If you're a creative of any kind, an indie creator of any kind, whether it be an artist, musician, business, anything, and you want to be featured, you want to have a platform, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the podcast. And yeah, I think that's everything. You can follow us at the Dreamscape Empyrean. You can email us there. You can DM us. Reach out. We'd love to connect. And until next time, thanks for tuning in, dreamers. And thank you again, Dr. Tiffany, for joining us. Do you have any last words for the audience before we go?
Unicorn, you are one of a kind.
Perfect. And we'll see you next time, dreamers.